Hey everybody, it's Julian of Flow Graphics here, and this is going to be the first episode of the Game Dev Diaries. So, something I just really quickly want to say before I get into things is, as for like actually uploading on my channel, as many of you know, I've had a whole lot of problems lately with my partnership. I've still just cannot sort this out. I don't really want to disclose any information, but there's just nothing I can do. I'm just not getting any response. And no information as to what the hell is going on or when it can be solved. Basically, I'm making zero money from all of my videos. All the monetization on every single one of my videos is turned off, and I cannot turn it back on. And I rely on the money I get from YouTube for a lot of things. And that money that I rely on enables me to spend the time to make YouTube videos in between studies and all that. So at the moment, I'm just sort of having to fork out all this time to make videos. Well, I'm not even making that many videos, so I can't really say that. But if I was to make videos, I'd have to fork out all this time to make them, and then I'm just sort of sitting here, and I don't even know if I'll be able to get any sort of revenue for them or what the hell's happening. So I'm stuck in a bit of a weird position at the moment. So sorry if I don't upload a lot, but if you see me not upload a whole lot for the next couple of weeks, you know that's why. Hopefully, I'm really hoping I can get this sorted out as quickly as possible. But it's just, it's a really tough position to be in, and this is literally nothing I can do. I'm just sort of relying on other people, and they're not giving me the best feedback. So, otherwise, this is the first episode of Game Dev Diaries. So this probably won't be the most fun, interesting episode, because it's mainly just theory stuff that we've been sort of getting into lately. A lot of planning and sort of project management stuff before we sort of get the whole game up and running. We've done a very small, quick prototype in Unity, nothing big. But I'll show you guys what we've done so far, and I'll explain what we're planning on doing in the next couple of weeks. So, I'll get straight into it. So, the past sort of week or so, we've just been working really hard on doing a whole lot of planning for our game. So, we've made up this big PDF with just a whole bunch of things like the concept treatment, analysis for play. So basically, what future add-ons can we add? Researching gameplay mechanics and how they can sort of contribute to our game. Something that's actually really cool that you probably shouldn't underestimate is paper prototyping. In this case, we used Lego. Everyone's got that big tub of Lego sort of out in the in the garage or in the attic or something from your childhood. And I happened to dig my big tub of Lego out of the garage and used it for actually physically prototyping the game, and this was great. It's really cool getting a physical prototype, being able to just straight away test mechanics, without making anything in Unity or anything. You can literally just slap a couple. You can, if you're making a card game, you can just draw some cards on a bit of paper, or if you're making a game like this, it's a little bit more complicated. Something like Lego, where you can actually test physical spacing for objects and lengths and angles and things like that. It's amazing. So making these actual Lego levels, we were able to test a lot of mechanics and come to a lot of really quick conclusions about the game that we otherwise wouldn't have been able to come to if we were just sort of doing it by ear and just sort of planning as we go. Because something in game development is you need to know that your game is good well before you start making it. Sometimes you can only really do that as you sort of start making it, but you really quickly need to learn and really quickly need to have down pat exactly what your game mechanics are and how you're going to actually make this game, and is it an engaging, fun game to start with, because you don't want to spend 6 months working on a game and then realize, oh, it's not very good. So if you can, the more you can plan, the better, and the more info you can get back from that planning is just amazing. So we did a whole lot of that. I drew up some diagrams, just for some levels, and then we did some player testing with the Lego prototypes, and then just some more diagrams for sort of player interaction with the rope and all sorts of things like that. We even did a flow chart, which is sort of like a game minute. You basically explain what happens in a game inside a minute. Whether for us it was just a level, we just basically explained what happened in a basic level, step by step, using a flow chart. So all this stuff is really essential when you're making any game. Even what you just saw then was sort of a dumbed down design document. Well, it's not really a design document. It was more of a like a pitch. It was basically a pitch of the game, or pitching the game to our lecturers. And then our next assessment will be the actual full-on design document. So right there, it's basically just saying, hey, we want to make this game. This is what we've sorted out. We know these mechanics are going to be good. We've physically tested them. Let us make this. So, yeah, that's what I've basically done so far. We've got some concept art. And we've got some things to sort of planning out. If you haven't heard of the website Trello before, Trello is amazing. It's just a project management sort of software it's just like on the web. It's a website. It's free to sign up. It's 100% free. And you have these things called stories, like these little sort of post-it notes you see here. And then attached to these stories, you can name them and you can tag them and you can set checklists and all sorts of things. So it's a really, really awesome way to have project management inside of a game, because you can say, main menu GUI, and that can be, or just main menu, and that can be a story. And then under that, you could have a checklist saying, GUI graphic, and then the script for the GUI, and then all the components that make that up. And then you can tag someone from your team, and you can say, hey, John, you need to do this by this date, otherwise we're going to fall behind schedule. And then you can move all the stuff to in progress, QA testing, finished. And it's a really good way to just visually see how you're progressing with the project, and then you can sort of get all this information, put it down to a burn down chart. And then from a burn down chart, you can exactly sort of see, am I ahead of schedule? Are we behind? What's sort of going on? But if you're doing any sort of project management, if you're building a website for, like a company, if you're building any sort of software, any sort of really digital thing, like just something like a game where it takes a lot of different aspects and multiple people to work, project management is a very essential thing, and Trello does this very well, and it's free, which is awesome. So that's basically what we're doing. We got a very, very, very quick prototype up in Unity. This was just simply testing how a certain way to make the rope would interact with the environment. So we've spent the last sort of couple weeks just trying to figure out how exactly we're actually going to go about the physics on the rope, because obviously we're going to have to sort of hard code a whole lot of things about the player interaction with the rope, because you can't always just rely on in-engine physics for a lot of things. You have to sort of, you can't be too lenient in situations. Sometimes you have to say, no, I really want this to happen, because if this big wide range of things can happen with the rope, if it hits the wall, that can leave open room for error and room for bugs, or your player flying across the screen or something like that. As you can see now, I have an Xbox controller actually plugged in. So it's we're making the game for a controller. We might add like inputs for a keyboard. We probably will. But it just feels really nice and smooth with a controller. So right now I have a Xbox controller just hooked into my PC, and I'm just moving around this blue dude, and you can see I've got like this sort of sausage chain sort of rope between me and the red guy. And it's sort of, it's sort of restricting my movement a bit, and it's sort of going around, and I can actually, like walk around, manipulate this cube here. I can wrap the rope around it and sort of pull it along and do all sorts of things. Obviously the rope's super buggy. It's nothing final. This is just a really, really early prototype just to test how the rope works with moving objects like this cube here. So we could get a bit better idea of how to plan certain things. I'll show you a really cool bug. If I just quickly, jump off the side of the plane here, planes are one-sided, so when I go back up, I just teleport through the ground. And sometimes it just absolutely launches me into the air like that. So, yep, there I am. And it's gonna launch me again. Yep, there we go. So, if you've ever made a game before, you will realize there are millions and millions of bugs, and you basically spend the most time just refining bugs, really, and just quality assurance, just testing. But yeah, like this is nothing final to any degree. We just sort of did this as a quick prototype, just to, whoops, okay, Mayo opened for some reason there. Maybe I accidentally clicked on it. So it was just a simple way just to test the rope. But yeah, so hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll start to get some more solid prototypes. What we need to be doing for the next prototype is a bunch of things. So we need to start getting some player controller. We have a player controller script, which obviously does all the movement and the jumping. The jumping does not have grounding at the moment, so I can just spam the jump. It doesn't detect when I'm on the ground or not. So I just quickly added in a jump function, just so I could see how it affected the rope. I sort of like the fact that we can fly at the moment, because we can test a bunch of things about the rope. when the player is significantly higher than the other. But yeah, so all we need to do now is basically add in a bunch of code. Like, so for example, we want sort of to cast 2 spheres around each player, and then when those spheres are outside each other, that is the limit that the players can go between each other. So it's basically just the players can only go a certain distance from each other at all times. There's a lot of ways we can do that. So basically means when the rope is sort of at tension like that, I cannot physically move further to the left without the red dude moving with me. So this doesn't happen. Obviously, what I'm doing right now is basically just pulling the character joints out of place, and I can fix this to a degree. But if I add the restrictions, so I just can't even go here in the first place, and then fix it a bit, it will just make it, again, it's just making no room for error. So this will never happen. So yeah, we're gonna try to get that done, and then we're just gonna start sort of solidifying the character controllers and really get down pat all the movement and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, that's basically it for what we've done so far. It's again, like, it's our first video. It's a lot of just planning things, so there wasn't anything too exciting we could show you. It's just really just basic things. But yeah, hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can get done a lot more sort of stuff on our prototypes in Unity. Maybe get out some more some really sort of basic concept art and some other sort of stuff going. Because I'm working on another game called Shadowrun at the same time as part of another class at uni, and I'm working at this, so I've got a lot on my plate. But yeah, so hopefully I should be able to make another video. I won't just make a video like every week. I'll make a video when I have good content to show you guys. So if I do a lot of work in like a couple of days that I hadn't done a couple of days prior, I can make another video quite quickly because I've done heaps of work and I need to show you guys sort of like the progress and the updates. So I'll put out a video in maybe, I don't know, a week or two, most likely like 2 weeks, when we have a lot more to show you. That could make a bit more interesting video. But yeah, thanks for watching. Sorry if it was the most entertaining video, but I can promise you we'll get into a lot more sort of juicier stuff, especially when we get to the art assets, because I can actually sort of show you guys the basically the production line of art assets within game design, and how we go about sort of making them and all that sort of stuff. And once we get into the scripting as well, I know there was a couple of people in the last video that were quite interested in coding or scripting. So yeah, once we get into that, I can show you guys a lot of the scripting work, and hopefully that'll be sort of cool. So thanks for watching, everybody. It's been Flow Graphics or Julian here. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have an awesome day. See ya.